And so if you're not constantly told that you need a
made the change really officially in 2013, but my views again.
I've been voting Republican probably about 20 years.
And then to say that we don't, that we are not owed that debt, that's not true.
Comes to this one topic, of course, it really jumped up during the past election, and it made main news now since everybody else was getting funded. So, by way, raise of hands, if y'all don't mind, raise your hands if you do support reparations for the Black community.
I do.
Okay, so for those who do, could you explain? And for those who don't, please explain.
Reparations, I support reparations because, one, we paid reparations to Israel. We were not the genesis of the Holocaust, but you have to create avenues for parity. And that is to deny reparations to the descendants of slaves in America is just wrong. Now, I think that Black people in America can get a whole lot more than we can get by receiving reparations, but do I think they're owed? Yeah, they're owed. We were brought here as slaves, many sold by our people who look just like us from Africa, and you know there are issues with that too, but a debt is owed. A debt is owed. And then when you realize the pain many Africans, descendants of slaves, have gone through in this country, it's horrific.
Well, just to add to that, I see it partly the way she described it when she was talking about giving monies to illegal immigrants coming in. We have given money to Israel. We've given money to Japanese who were wronged here. They suffered a wrong here, were put into camps and things like that here. We paid their families. I don't know how long that went on for, but also there were whites who were displaced as a result of slavery. And guess what? Majority of the people now, we just recently bought a ranch. Majority of the people around us own 300 to 500 acres of land. You know how they got it? They didn't pay for it. It was by land grants. They got it for free. So if we can make right all of these situations.
And then to say that we are not owed that debt, that's not true. And then to just hand out millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to people who are here illegally and who gave the finger to the country as they were coming out of jail for beating up a cop. If that was Black America, that would not happen. When they found out, we're talking about asylum, the one country that should have asylum issues is Haiti. Haiti is one of the reasons Black Americans are free. Haiti was, when the Haitian Revolution happened and Haiti and Toussaint Louverture defeated the French, that spurred on the rebellions in America. You know, Nat Turner and the like, and that's another wonderful story that should be talked about. And of course, Haiti is a fallen state. And so when the Haitians were coming over, what did they do? They said, oh, no, let's ship those Haitians to Guantanamo Bay. So why are the Haitians, why don't they qualify for asylum? They have no country. I know people who've done work in Haiti, and they are now it's run by gangs. It's a
It's
mess.
a mess.
I mean, I know people on the ground who have done work in Haiti, and they said, Karen's a mess. So not news, but eyewitnesses for what's really going on. If anybody deserves asylum, it's the Haitians. But why? They're not opening up to the Haitians because they look like me. And then they're not we're opening up to the people that don't look like. We've got people from China over here. China. And we're giving them asylum and letting them run around in the country for whenever your case is going to come up. So that means, almost never, just so they can have a vote. So there are a lot of complicated stories that are out there. But when you look at the overlay of race, then you have to see that there is a difference. That we would treat the Haitians differently than we would treat Nicaraguans, Colombians. And the Haitians are starving. And the Colombians, they're coming over with gang tattoos where they know they're gang tattoos, not just saying it, they know, and they're still getting millions of dollars of taxpayer money. So yeah.
Black in America. The African Americans are known for building the infrastructure of America. We once again have that opportunity. There are lots of things that we can do as far as adding to what he said, giving the people a hand up by making sure, number one, that our children can read.
Right. Amen.
Mhm.
Amen.
100 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
kids were killed, people were killed for just teaching people how to read, 100 plus years ago. Right now, we are having that same situation as a result of the pandemic and learning gaps or whatever. We need to make sure that our children can read, that they can understand,
Amen.
that they know what is available to them.
Absolutely.
But as far as the infrastructure of America, all of us witnessed the horrible tragedy of the Francis Scott Key Bridge, and how although that platform had several pillars, when they hit one pillar, the whole thing came crashing down. Well, our infrastructure is deteriorating. The money is with the transportation. If we could help our individuals to have their own businesses, whatever their trade or craft, working together as a community, the monies are there. We just have to show them the way. So it's one thing to say that, oh, they should give us this, give us that, but the land is full of opportunities. We have to show them how to take advantage of those opportunities so they can be the next millionaires or whatever it is their heart's desire. But they have to understand how these things work.
Right.
I don't think it's an either or. I think it's a both and.
Well, let me break this down, and I'm gonna touch upon what you're saying. All right, reparations. I wrestled with this for a while, and I'm making a point about this, okay? So my argument on reparations was at first, let's study the issue. And I'm gonna get into this. And my position was, I'm not saying that we as blacks should or should not get reparations, but based on what was done previously, the groups that did receive reparations, why did they receive, how did they receive reparations? And if we as blacks fit that criteria, I'm saying yes, we should receive reparations. But why did these minority so-called groups or disadvantaged groups get, or qualify for this? So that was my thinking at first. But then when I began to think about some things, we are never gonna get reparations. You know why? Because we have black leaders who have sold out our community. We have black leaders who are indebted to the Democrat Party, who are indebted to certain groups, i.e. secret societies, banking institutions, whatever. They will never allow reparations to happen in our community. Because you know why? If we do, we will not be dependent upon the Al Sharptons. We will not be dependent upon the Jesse Jacksons. We will not be dependent upon the voting system to keep these people in power, okay? So, the Congressional Black Caucus, you're gonna have people, when they get money, they're gonna run against these people. They don't want that dependency to not be upon them, okay? So, also, based on what she said also, we are under this term called minority, right? Have you noticed that when we first started getting government assistance as far as loans, things of that nature, now the word, so we qualified for this if you do that, if you do that. But now, guess what? We as blacks, that term minority, we're lucky to get 10% now. Because guess what? They've expanded the term minority.
5 minutes.
Okay, so the first question is in regards to Biden and
And-
Trump. And what would you like to know regarding?
So what's your thoughts on that? Because a lot of times Trump may get a lot of negative feedback when people say you shouldn't vote for him because you're black. So what's your thoughts and perspective on that?
Well, I'll just say this. Trump and just what he's going through. I mean, the global elites, you know, are just attacking him. What's going on in New York regarding this trial? What happened in Georgia? Just the attacks against this man. And I just want really Democrats, don't look at him as public enemy number one. Look at what's being done to him. And I told somebody the other day, I told a black Democrat, what has he done to you? Why are you attacking this man so viciously? I'm talking about you as an individual. You get what I'm saying? So why are you partnering with the CNNs, the MSNBCs, and things of that nature? What has this man done to attack you? You get what I'm saying? And so I'm trying to get him to think on a higher plane, you know, because you're in cahoots with this mainstream media who doesn't care about you. All they want you to do is tune in and participate in the destruction of this country. So, hey, I love Donald Trump. Donald Trump has done so much in 4 years for this country that is just unheard of. The stock market, when he was there, reached 25,000, 26,000, 30,000. And AT&T, for example, started giving money to their employees because their stocks had gone so high. Nancy Pelosi criticizes, saying that people don't need that money. How dare you say that? That shows how out of touch you are. You get what I'm saying? So, to me, it's no argument who the better individual is. It's all this outside shenanigans that the media is throwing in to have you hate Trump. For what? And now they got this thing about him sleeping with a porn star, and that's a crime. You get what I'm saying? It's just all this shenanigans that people are throwing into this election.
Win, and like we had win last time, we won. But and there should be enough smart people on our side to counter that. But are we doing enough to counter that? Are we having these other battles that's not dealing with the real fight? Is that the guys that did, if they stole it last time and we won by 20 points, we could win by 30 points this time. Why wouldn't they steal it again? Huh?
They have a reason not to.
What?
They already planned to.
They are, yeah. So why? I just think that, our guys gotta be.
And we already know we don't have a plan.
Well, we should have a plan. We should.
We already know we
that's the
don't have a
problem.
plan to defend it.
Because and we need to, because you need to be planning that they're gonna steal it again. So what do we have? How are we gonna deal with that?
The reality to that is that as Republicans, we don't depend on the government.
Yeah,
right.
And the only reason we're involved in politics is that we don't want the government to
In our
continue to
lives.
interfere
Right.
in our lives.
Yeah,
Otherwise, we wouldn't be a part of politics.
Right.
We don't see a place for it. But if I have to raise someone up off of me, then it's time for us to fight back. But
Yeah.
as individuals, seeing what happened in the last thing, we all saw it.
Mhm.
They saw it too. But if it's my guy, I have to pretend like I didn't see it. Everybody saw it,
Yeah.
right? And all you
Yeah.
have to do is have a media that continuously says it didn't happen.
That's
It didn't
right.
happen. It's a
Yeah.
lie. It's false. And now you bring charges up against someone, and none of that has been hasn't been
Substantiated.
substantiated or corroborated
Right, right.
at all. right? But it's just the mentality.
Yes.
It's in order to keep Black people in that mental state of
That's
mind.
right.
So for me, of course, it's not, I had to have this conversation with a close friend. It's not about the political party necessarily. It's certainly not about the person that's running for office. It's about the statutes that most assimilate our lives. And the majority of us, when I see so many college educated Black people, right, who have gone to college, got multiple degrees and everything, and now they bought their homes, they've gone into business for themselves, they have children, all of these things. We have the same issues. A lot of us have the same lives. So why are we voting differently? Right? They have the same, but when they get into trouble or something happens, they get ready for retirement. As I'm trying to tell one of my friends, you're trying to go into retirement, your husband no longer has his job. Now the taxes go up on your house, and the taxes are there because we're against high taxes. We don't want to be, you're being taxed out of your home, right? You want, oh, well, I'm still paying for my school loans and all of these things. Yeah, but guess what? When they pay your loans off, you're still going to be paying for your school loans because you're a taxpayer. Right? No person goes to college to qualify for any type of assistance of that nature, right? So we've got to start looking at it as the Democrats and Republicans have the same issues. It's just how do we see, what do we see doing about it? What do we do about them? We see things differently. We want to do something about them ourselves, as we should. Right? And they want the government. So this friend of mine, who is a highly educated individual, they have a big, beautiful house out on Lake Ray Hubbard and everything. And so they're having real issues right now, health issues and everything else. But she says, well, the people need help. Well, let the people help themselves.
Right.
Sell this big house and do what I'm doing. Go to the country. That's where I want to go. Right? So, but my thing is, that's why I'm so on the land right now too. And I see freedom there. So we've got to start looking at the issues at hand. Look at the platform. I don't know a Democrat that's ever read the Democratic platform.
Yes.
They never read it. And one incident happened in this past election. We had all our propositions on our ballot as Republicans. Had about, what, 30 of them? I mean, there was a bunch of them.
Democrats
So
had
there
none.
was a family that comes in every single election. It's 3 aunties that are sisters, the mother and the nephew that is the son of one of the women. These individuals come in, the aunties are sitting over here and they're upset. Says, well, yeah, my mother's voting Republican and I don't know why she's doing that. And I think my nephew is the one who talked her into it and everything. And so they're at odds with one another, with the mother and the nephew and everything. But she grabs a Republican sample ballot and she starts to read it. And she comes to me, she says, why are these not on our ballot? I want to have an opinion about the taxes, right? It was a proposal on there to end property taxes, right? Because, we'll get on that on another day. But it was to end property taxes. And she knows that would be a huge relief on her life. That's the same problem my friend is having right now out on Lake Ray Hubbard. The amount of taxes they have to pay on that property. So when that lady said that, she says, well, why wasn't it on our? I said, you're a Democrat. Democrats don't ask your opinion, they tell you your opinion. Right? I said our party asked our opinion. Right? And that becomes what our priorities are in our legislative, when the legislative body comes together. That's what that is for. The Democrats never ask you your opinion. They say you're Black, so you vote Democrat, and you vote for the same people who have never done anything for you over and over and over again. And every single year they tell you some foolishness that make you believe that they're gonna, and they never do it. Just like Biden says, oh yeah, we're gonna give you all this money for your school. He knew that he couldn't do that legally, but they still voted for it. And then when they asked him about it, did you see the interview where there were six college people, Black leaders in, I don't know what state they were in, but Biden tells them, he says, well, I have to be president to everybody. I can't just do that for Black people. Well, that's the same thing Obama said after he told the lies that he said.
Yeah.
Right? I can't just be president for black people. Well, why didn't you make black people the promise?
But,
So
President
we
Trump
got to
was
stop
president
that.
for the black people because
He was the
brought
best
the
president
office
for
of the
black people.
HBCUs into the White House and gave them
And
all
gave
that
them
money,
money.
and
But
Biden
then-
came and took it all back.
But then they turned around, right? And the presidents of those black colleges went against Trump. They went on
Yeah.
the mission against Trump. I said, you just received money from this man, gratuitously. I don't understand how you can turn around who in the Democrat Party. But like she said, they're part of these secret societies and all of these other entities that they get involved in, and they take dark oaths on them, and they receive money from, and they get their positions because of it.
Right.
And then it leaves us wondering, why would people work against themselves?
Right.
Because they're doing these things for other reasons.
Yep.
So yes, Trump is the best candidate. Trump is the best candidate because he's going on Republican values. I'm not saying he's the best candidate because I'm not trying to marry the man. I don't
Right.
care. I don't
Not
care
looking
about
for
that,
money.
right? And when I go into surgery, right? The doctor was just here. I don't ask that man, have you slept with somebody other than your wife? I don't ask him that. I want to know if you can do your job.
Right.
So that's what we should be looking for. Biden's proof that he can't do the job. Trump has proven that he can do the job. And because they're coming against him, both sides, Republican and Democrat, is coming against him on both sides.
That's how you
I'm
know
pretty
he's for us.
certain that he's probably going to be the one. He's a threat to them.
Yeah.
And he's a threat to waking the people up.
The thing I like about Trump is, one, he's a businessman, and two, he loves his country.
Right.
And he stood up for us. One example was with the tariffs. You know,
Yeah.
these other countries was charging us these outrageous tariffs, and we get little pennies on the dollars, and he like, you can't do that. You're gonna treat us fairly. You're gonna do business fairly, and I like that about him. I like the fact that he's not a politician and that he's pretty raw.
Yeah.
You know, he is who he is, and you can trust that.
And you know, black people like Louis Vuitton. He brought the Louis Vuitton factory to Texas, to West Texas, producing Louis Vuitton bags in West Texas because of those tariffs, because they didn't want to pay all those tariffs over there. So they built a factory in West Texas where they're hiring Texans to make Louis Vuitton bags in Texas instead of them being made overseas in China and shipped over here.
And that was just the beginning
Yes.
of bringing manufacturing back to this country.
Right.
Because just to talk about that, manufacturing used to be our biggest asset. And when you're
Yes.
talking about GDP, it used to be manufacturing, right? Today, you know what it is? Healthcare
Yep.
and pharmaceuticals. Wonder why? Right? And so that's a huge problem. In order for you to continue to have that highest amount of GDP as healthcare, you need more sick people.
Yeah.
How do you get more sick people if they're waking up to not trust the medical industry?
Corona. And
How do you do that? So what have they done?
Create
They
a
have
virus,
create
get
these
it on your
viruses,
side.
instill fear in people and everything else. We don't want our GDP in America to be pharmaceuticals or the healthcare industry. It shouldn't be. And Trump became a threat when he was focused on manufacturing. And if you bring one factory back, guess what? The others will
They're
follow.
coming. And then when he made us energy independent,
Yeah.
where we started
Right.
selling energy to other
Right.
countries.
Right.
And now all of a sudden we're making money as a country.
Right.
Yes.
Other than just taxing people. Now we're on another level.
This also, when it came to the Board of Education, things of that nature, also our segregation. You have black leaders who are in cahoots with white liberals. They are the ones who broke up segregation they are the ones who broke up the segregation. You know, we were segregated. We had our own communities. We are the ones who sold ourselves out. Okay? So we aren't under segregation anymore because you have so-called black leaders who, behind closed doors, made deals to bring us into integration, right? And so they bring us into integration because guess what? They got paid off. Even to this day, why don't you hear about so-called black leaders frightfully concerned about the murder rate, things of that nature? Why we this and that? That's because they're paid off because they want us to die. They want to still be in charge. They still want to be in the forefront. So my point is, there's a system that we are under and that Democrats control, because guess what? 90%, maybe a little bit less now, but 9 out of 10 black voters identify with the Democrat Party. So of course you're going to say black Republicans are this or that or crazy and things of that nature, because we don't have the numbers. You get what I'm saying? Now, if that diagram begins to change as far as going from 9 to 10 to 8 to 10 to 7 to 10, 6 to 10, you're going to see some absolute changes, because they're going to come over hopefully to our side. And that dynamic is going to shift with the conversation. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So my point is the fact that there are factors involved where black people don't even realize that they're being controlled by. I'm going to make 2 points. Out of California, what's her name? Who's the? Waters.
Oh, Maxine.
Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters doesn't even live in her own congressional district.
Ricky Waters.
You hear what I'm saying? Maxine Waters doesn't even live in her own congressional district. She moved out to some other affluent district, but yet they still vote for her. That's ludicrous. Yeah. When Trump gave his State of the Union speech and said that more black and Latinos are employed, they shocked the Congressional Black Caucus. Not one of them clapped. So that means that you don't even care about your community. Yeah. You made promises to the people there when you went around to vote. Yeah, I'm gonna get you jobs. You didn't get them jobs. You still haven't got them jobs. How dare you not clap when it came to blacks getting jobs in your own community? You didn't even clap because it was Trump. You don't even care about your community when Trump said, that these people, that unemployment levels have dropped. Right? How dare you?
Yes.
And you just sat there stoically, not clapping. You don't care about your community. All you care about is getting votes and still being in that position, not doing anything. It's a problem. It's a long-standing problem that we idly have sat by and accepted. So my point is this: we can say all these good things or whatever. It's not until people wake up, people start getting involved with politics. Voting is the most active form of activism that one can do in their community. And I'm happy that that's happening. You get what I'm saying? But my point is this: deals are made for the black community. So to answer your question, Warren, no, reparations will not happen. Because we have those who are part of secret societies, who are part of the Democrat Party, because they want to stay in power. Now there's a black lady, she's out of New Jersey, and said, hey, we welcome these Latinos and stuff come in, because guess what? We are losing our
black constituency.
We are losing our black constituency, but also our numbers in our communities. You have to have 500,000 or more to have a congressional district. Black congressional lady said, hey, we welcome them because we need them in our communities so we can keep our positions. They don't care about you. When they do vote for you, it's based upon race, because that's what you portray. That's what you put in your messaging. It's us against them. They have to take your rights away. We're gonna take your reproductive rights. Hey, reproduction means to me,
reproduce.
You want to have
You gonna make more.
Right. So they use these play on words to put shock into you and to scare you. And if you think about it, you be like, wait a minute, your reproductive rights, that's to have children.
Yeah.
You know, so they use these play on words, to shock and scare people. And what I'm scared about most, Warren, is the fact that we don't think about these things.
That's it.
Yeah.
We just react.
So we have to think in terms of decades. At the children that we have now,
Right.
What type of situation do we want for them 30 years from now? We need to talk to them about financial literacy.
Amen.
We need to talk to them as far as about, here, I know that this is your passion, but have you considered being an actuarian, or have you considered of doing this, that, this, and the other? Most importantly, we have to make sure that they understand the kids that we have now, they're competing on a global level. Right. So if we have schools that are not meeting the standards, but this is not just public schools, we're talking about public schools, private schools, charter schools, because there's a gap in funding. We need to make sure that the money gets to the children so they can have the proper education, so decades from now, they can have a good society.
I agree with her that we need to think long-term vision. I agree with Cassandra in saying, turn off the TV set. First thing you can do is get your little children and your teenagers and your middle agers, whatever they are, off the social media. Those apps are designed to be addictive. The people who created those apps and who created this technology don't even let their kids use it, but they have ensnared our generations. And now, instead of wanting to be useful things in societies like doctors, different types of attorneys, plumbers, electricians, trades, they want to be YouTube influencers. When you need your plumbing fixed, a YouTube influencer will not be of any value.
Come on.
When you need to build a house, a YouTube influencer will not come and run your electrical wires.
Right.
We need to go back to teaching our kids that these trades that we've denigrated are really the foundation of our society. We also need to teach them to critically think. My mom, as we were growing up, she taught us something called if-then thinking. She didn't know that it was critical thinking at its core. But she said, here's the way you make a decision. You think, if I decide to do this, then what will happen? Can I live with the what? She said, if you can live with the what, go ahead and do it. If you can't, do something else. If we can teach our kids, if then, everything you do is a cause, everything you do has a result. We're not teaching our children to think about the results. And that's why our generations are being cut short. So how do we change it? We turn off the TV sets, we turn off social media, we begin to talk to each other, teach them to read and write, teach them to think.
I agree with what has been said already, but I think one of the big things that Trump had in place, and that if it had stayed in place long term, is these opportunity zones.
Yes.
Where it would build up those areas that they would become more productive and more destructive than they are now. But something like that, we really need to have something like that, and that's why it's that program or that opportunity was pretty powerful, and it will really make a difference. But also the other thing we got to do is school and getting our kids and to come up and be better, better choices.
Right.
And there are better choices out there, and they're needed, in every area. So we talk about the trades and whatever, and it's not always about going to college, but if we can teach them trades,
Right.
it would be powerful. They would be a productive person in society.
I've been at this for a long time. In my church, I teach the Jewish roots of Christianity. I admire the Jewish community. They've done it right.
Yes.
They have a sense of community like no other. And I think if we really look strategically at how they do what they do, we can rebuild the Black community. Then we can mirror it into the Latino community, into all these other communities where they're struggling, because they have a sense of community. You go into the Jewish community, the banks are theirs. The businesses are theirs. They're their people doing business with their people. They're not running across town to spend $17 billion on hair with the Asians in their community.
Wow.
If they're buying hair in their community. And the thing is, they're not looking for the lowest cost. They're not looking for a Walmart. They're doing business with their people. Why? Because they're my people.
That's right.
And this is another thing that I found with the Jewish people. So they even have a little political divide. A lot of people don't know. So like the Jewish Republicans only do business with Jewish Republicans. Jewish Democrats only do business with Jewish Democrats. So they keep it in their circle, and they build their communities. They take care of their communities. They police their communities. Nobody's coming through doing crimes in their communities. Why? Because they know that neighborhood watch is real, and they know that you're probably gonna get beat to death before the police get to you. So we're not going to that area to do any crimes. And so if we get back to it goes back again to personal responsibility. If we go back to being personally responsible for the education of our children, being personally responsible for who we elect to represent us, and make sure that we have representing representatives instead of non-representing representatives. Go back to making sure that Pookie and them not hanging out on the corner all night long. Where your parents at? Where your daddy at? Where your mom at?
Yeah.
I remember being out when I wasn't supposed to be out. The neighbors would drag me to their house till my dad came home or till my mom came home, because I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be. So we got to get back to, we use that word black community, but are we really a community? Let's get back to being a community.
Amen.
Okay, that was great. I feel that one of the things that we should do, especially on the local level, is to, because I know for years my thinking was a certain way, and I wasn't really voting or being part of the way I thought, what my values were. And I think we should continue to go into our communities and continue to put the word out. I know it's like banging your head against a brick wall, but this is life or death, I think, and we just need to continue to try and get people to see what's going on. We need our people. We need to get the word out as far as Christianity, the Word of God.
Yeah.
We need to talk to them about how we've been duped by the Democratic Party, in my opinion, and we're not voting our Christian values, and we need to do that. And we just need to continue to teach our kids those values, and just continue to get that word out. I mean, it seems like a undoable task, but we got to fight till the end. Continue to put the word out.